the true crime genre, it's not true crime. It's just crime. Films like Law and Order, all that stuff, it's fake crime. If you're going to have a true... There
should be crime and fake crime, not crime and true crime.
The default is crime, is reality.
Love it or leave it.
And we're back.
Hey.
The world is full of big, important problems. Democratic backsliding, wars, that fungus that's turning all the cicadas gay, probably some other stuff. But if you only ever think about our biggest problems, eventually you start looking like shit and stop getting invited to parties where people are doing cool drugs. So here to go deep on some problems so tiny we feel silly even bringing them up, it's Hari Kondabolu.
Hello. Hi. Oh, thank you. What a full applause that was. That was
purely earned off their excitement and expectation for your comedy.
Yeah.
For the thing they know you'll bring.
Yeah.
Which
Not
are the laughs.
in any way.
Not at all. Not at all.
Clapping harder.
What's the smallest thing that bothered you today? Mine was that the coldest Diet Cokes weren't at the front of the office fridge because someone didn't move up the cold cans before they loaded in more Diet Cokes. But don't worry, I fired them.
Well, this is an ongoing thing, but why do we have to sign the receipt when we use credit cards? I mean, the government has our eyes and they have our fingerprints just so we can avoid a line, kind of, because now everybody has Clear. And, like, you're telling me with all that security technology, we still got to sign the receipts? Who's checking the receipts?
Who's checking the receipts? It also, I'm just going to say it. We're just going to deal with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
And I'm putting enough ironic distance on it to make us all feel comfortable and not hate me after I say the sentence. I've been signing a lot of books lately. And
oh, boy.
I told you.
Yeah,
Did I tell you?
Yeah.
I told you. And so one thing that we've noticed, the three of us have been just signing these pages, is my signature is completely different. Every single time. It's a new one every fucking time. I don't have one signature. I have 5,000 signatures. And we're doing voter signature verification. Everybody's signature looks fucking different every goddamn time.
Especially when you sign the receipt, fuck off.
Yeah, you sign it, fuck off. That's a lot of time. I think it's just put a squiggle.
Yeah, just a squid. But nobody's checking. Why are we doing it?
Why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Hey, like, when is the last time someone turned over your credit card and said, no signature, where's your ID, sir? Doesn't happen.
No,
not
never
in this economy. Now we're going to pet peeve for the gold. In a game we're calling I Think You Should Peeve. Oh, where there we are, Statler and Waldorf.
Look at that.
In each round, I'm going to tell Hari about one of my tiny grievances. Hari will tell us about another. He'll tell us about one of his, and we'll decide once and for all who's the pettiest, peeviest bitch on this stage. It's a peeve off. Are you ready, Hari?
Yes.
All right. Why don't you kick us off with a peeve?
Okay. The true crime genre, it's not true crime. It's just crime. It's just crime. Why? Because there's already a crime genre. Why are we saying that it's true crime and crime? It should be crime, and that should be fake crime. Because it's fake crime.
What do you mean?
Like films like Law and Order, all that stuff, it's fake crime. If you're going to have a true... There
should be no crime and fake crime, not crime and true crime.
The default is crime, is reality. The default is reality. It's like fiction and nonfiction. Nonfiction? Fuck you, fiction. Like it's fiction and reality. Reality is the baseline we should be using.
Right. Fiction is one section. It's a kind of thing. Everything else should just be true, right? There's history and geography and... several other different kinds
other genres
of ways people read. Listen, we all know all the kinds of books. All right, I think that's a good one. I'm going to go. Taking your cart to the self-checkout at the grocery store. I agree that there's no sign that says this is not for carts, but it spiritually runs counter to the philosophy of the self-checkout. The self-checkout should be for baskets or nothing. It should be for moving quick. If you've got a cart with all different shaped items, if you're at the cart level at the grocery store, you go to a cashier who's a professional at finding the fucking codes. You're not a professional at finding the codes. You're a moron. I agree. The system we've built where we check out our own groceries in order to save Albertsons a tiny bit of money that we're all participating in because we all could choose to wait in line for the cashier, but instead we choose the robots so that we do the job for Albertsons and subsidize Albertsons in their efforts to, I don't know, eke out another fucking dirty penny. So sorry. But if we're going to live in that world, if you've got a cart full of shit, you go to the cashier. If you have a basket and you're going to have 5 items, okay, you're going to find one on the can, one on the thing, and you're going to get out of there. That's my pet peeve. All right, audience, whose peeve was bitchier. Shopping carts are for the main lines, not the self-checkout, or true crime should just be called crime. Shopping carts? Wow. Crime. Not even close.
Thanks.
I didn't have
Wow.
them. I didn't have them.
Wow.
They don't know. They don't go to the grocery store. They're personal shoppers. Go to the grocery store. Let's hear one.
Okay. I hate when you're having a conversation with somebody like at a party and then someone they recognize shows up and interrupts your conversation, and then those two people start talking and neither of them acknowledge you. Like the person you were originally talking to doesn't introduce you. Hey, this is my friend Harry. And the other one's like, hey, my name is so-and-so. Sorry for interrupting. And you're just standing there like a fucking asshole with your dick in your hand. And you're like just waiting to get included and you're not. So do I go back and get some snacks? Is it rude to leave? And then finally the person who interrupted leaves and then it's just you and the other guy, and the other guy is like, well, where do we leave off? It's like, you just assume I'll come back to you? You assume after you dump me, all of a sudden, yeah, I don't know anybody else at the party. Yes, I am coming back, but it's bullshit.
Well, usually I find that is often because no one having that interaction knows the right name. They don't know the names. You should jump in. So my rule is if somebody if I'm talking to a friend and someone comes up and says to the friend, oh, hi, friend, it's great to see you, and they don't immediately introduce me, I think that you have to have a baked-in assumption that your friend is desperate for you to be their friend and jump in before anyone could suspect that they didn't know the new person's name and say, hi, I'm John, so that then your friend gets to do the performance of a lifetime, which is this move. Oh my God, I'm being crazy. Because by the time you finish the, oh my God, I'm being crazy, that new person has already said their name. And you get to do what I think is one of the most disgusting things we all do, which is just say the name Fred on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Fred.
This is Fred.
Hey. I don't know, John. That's a little victim blaming.
Here's mine. I don't know what happened to this society where we decided it was acceptable at restaurants for the first interaction you have at that restaurant for someone to come up to the table and say, would you like free water or would you like to buy expensive water for no reason? It is absolutely fucking bananas. It is so insulting because you're like, what? There's no other point in the restaurant experience where someone comes up to you and says, hey, do you want something or do you want something good and expensive? Like if you order like I'd like a chicken salad, and they're like, oh, you like the chicken salad, but would you also like a lobster tail on top or something? I didn't land it. I could have.
You kind of did somehow.
Yeah, I got it back. But you know what I mean? The water thing is fucking crazy. It's a crazy thing that we've all accepted. Like, hi, look, we're trying to get $7 extra onto every bill that we can. That's the nature of this business. And I think the restaurant business is terrible. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't want to be a part of it. Don't want to be in the restaurant business. Wouldn't want to be a college professor. Neither job appeals to me at all.
Why not a college professor?
Oh.
Summer
No.
vacations. Once you get tenure, fuck it all.
Well, that's the whole thing. Sure,
Yeah.
if you got tenure, but you got to get tenure.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You got to get tenure. Being a tenured professor would be nice, but I'm starting at fucking zero here, Hari. I'm not anything now. I don't even have an advanced degree.
You don't have an advanced degree?
I mean, I have a college degree, but I don't have an advanced degree.
Oh, okay.
I think my peeve was better. I don't want to know what they think. Was it the thing about the names, or was it the thing about the water? Names? Water? Tie. Good tie.
Tie, yeah.
All right, let's do another one.
I hate when people refer to me as Southeast Asian. I'm South Asian. All right, those are two very different places. South Asia is India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, so forth. Southeast Asia is Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos. Like South Asia has like a fourth of the world's population. So technically, you're all minorities in this room. And it's fucking ridiculous. And also, secondly, like Americans know who you bombed. Like you need to know where you bombed, right? Like you bombed Vietnam, you bombed Laos, you haven't bombed India yet, okay? You need to know, you got to know the victim's name, otherwise it's just more disrespectful.
I agree. That went into a deeper and larger kind of geopolitical peeve.
Yeah.
So I could have pressing up against the boundaries of the rules of the game. But you're safe. You're inside the boundaries. It's been ruled.
It just seems ridiculous. Imagine if someone came up to me, and like, "Hey, are you Vietnamese?" I'm like, "That's a bit of a jump, but it's in the world of Asian, but it's in. Why are you asking me if I'm Vietnamese? Are you Vietnamese? Why are we having this? I'm Indian or South Asian. Why is this complicated?
Yeah, why is it complicated?
Oh God, damn it! I was born in the wrong fucking country.
Here's something that bugs me. It's not the legacy of 50 years of American hegemony, but it bugs me. And it's the phrase non-comedogenic on skin products, which is a phrase that should mean won't clog your pores, but actually is not FDA anything. It's just a phrase you get to put on there, and it means absolutely fucking nothing. And as somebody whose skin kind of breaks out if you just think about putting it anywhere near something that could clog a pore, if you just think to yourself, I touched my face yesterday. If you just think it, pimples, popped up, terrible skin, but also very dry, Hari. Very dry skin. Very, very dry, very, very dry skin. So it must be moisturized. But the second moisturized, even the smell of it touches my face. Pimple, pimple, pimple. So non-comedogenic says it won't clog pores, but it will, Hari. It will every goddamn fucking time. It clogs every pore it can get to. Non-comedogenic. They also put it on there because it's like a fancy sounding term. It sounds medical. It sounds rigorous. It sounds like it proves something, like it's based in something. It's not. It's simply not.
You know what? Fuck them. I give you the round right now.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
That was petty.
Non-comedogenic. You want to do one more peeve?
Okay. All right. Fucking, I don't know if this even counts as a peeve, but fucking Oppenheimer was overrated. And it's absurd because they had the big kaboom 2/3 into the film, and then the last third was just them talking. We've seen the explosion. I don't care, and I don't care about Oppenheimer's sex life. Most people didn't know who Oppenheimer was in this country until the film came out, and then the film came out, and the only reason I feel that people cared was like, oh, Albert Einstein makes a cameo. Oh, this must be a real guy, because Albert Einstein made a cameo in the film, and then, spoiler alert, and then there's a big explosion, and then the last third is just them talking and feeling bad about the explosion, even though Oppenheimer had ample time to think this through.
The whole movie, the first 2 hours, very interesting. I agree.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it becomes this story about Robert Downey Jr. And Robert Downey Jr. wins the Oscar, like, okay, for that performance. But the movie would be better if he just cut Robert Downey Jr. out of the film completely. He has no relevance to the core story. He's not involved in the making of the bomb, really. No. The whole hinge of like what was Einstein saying was kind of just like had nothing to do with Robert Downey Jr. He had Robert Downey Jr. was like, Einstein was mad at me, and one day I'll find out why. Albert Einstein wasn't even thinking about him. No. He was thinking deeper thoughts about Robert Oppenheimer's guilt. But this movie also suffers from a problem of movies that we all have to deal with right now, which is we don't trust each other at all on any level as human beings. We don't let each other in traffic. We don't believe we understand each other. We don't believe anyone else is smart. Everyone thinks this way. And so every movie has some point in the movie where someone turns to camera and says, here is the thesis of this film. There's a moment in Barbie where someone has to turn to camera and say, this is what Barbie's about. There's a moment in Oppenheimer where someone has to turn to camera and say, the bomb, boy, maybe it was worth it, but probably not. I guess we'll be haunted by what we did forever. And no matter what awards we get, we'll always remember that what we did maybe wasn't the right thing to do. Isn't that right, Albert Einstein? Boy, isn't it, J. Robert Oppenheimer? You Jewish man, played by a very not Jewish man. The least Jewish mannerisms I've ever seen in the history of film.
The dude from Peaky Blinders is very good in that.
Well, sure.
That's
another thing. I'm a Paul Giamatti Oscar man in a Peaky Blinders Oscar world. You know?
His father banned Pete Rose.
Whose father?
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti's father is the guy that banned Pete Rose for gambling?
Yeah, and then the idea was he was going to ban Pete Rose in a few years, probably reinstate him, but then he died. And then, that was that.
Wow.
And then Paul Giamatti made Sideways at some point.
Presumably the authority to allow Pete Rose back in would have been vested to a new person. It wasn't like they didn't bury Pete Rose in Giamatti's dad's sarcophagus.
No, but
You know?
but after that, nobody wanted to bring him back. They kind of like Giamatti had a plan, but the plan was never executed because he died. And
Thank you, Hari.
Yeah, okay.
Catch Harry's next few shows on May 23rd at White Eagle Hall in Jersey City and May 25th at Off Cabot in Beverly, Massachusetts.